right, happy all-time highs weekend. So for a few days I've been preparing for this. I've got a lot of folders over here in my object tree of things I want to discuss with you. So pull up a chair, grab a drink, and stay for a little while. So the last 2 days I was giving warnings. Thursday I gave this warning, and Friday I gave this warning. This was the morning video for the Thursday, and this is the morning video for the Friday. It said, be careful shorting above here. Be careful shorting above here. And that looks like that was pretty good advice. I don't always give that advice, but when I do, I try to make it obvious, and I try to do it in a more gentle way. I'm going to show you a tweet that came across my Twitter from this gentleman. I want to make sure I'm giving proper attribution. And this is what he remarked, more than likely a mentor from the 1980s, because I don't know if you could get away with this today. The last 2 days, I looked at the chart and I can hear my old mentor saying, hey, F-face, don't fade this. Yesterday, it showed strength with zero pullbacks. A consolidation will come. A consolidation will come. Once it's done, it's going to show many false looks. And you, D-I-C-K, blah, 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 you are going to try to short. Don't. If you do, you buy the desk drinks, and I know you can't afford that, moron. Look for a long and write it. Then STFU and get my dry cleaning. If you've ever had a mentor that spoke to you like that, and I've had one, I can totally see my guy saying that to me. Oh my goodness, can I visualize that? So I tried to do this in a more gentle way, but if I wasn't doing it in a more gentle way, that's exactly how I would want to do it. But I try not to actually speak those words, but you get what I'm saying, right? So last 2 day warnings, when I give those warnings, be careful longing below this or shorting above here. Just pay attention to it. My opinion, you can do whatever you want. I am not in charge of your trading account, and none of this represents trading advice. So let's look at the 4 indices here. What are we seeing? ES, NQ, Dow, and wonk, Russell. Are we getting participation across all 4 indices? No, no, no. Is this the red flag? Well, something to just put in your pipe and smoke on it. So let's talk about parabolic moves. We talked about it briefly the other day, but I want to make sure I discuss it again. So price tends to do this, right? When it's doing this, we can draw trend lines, okay? And then this happens. So you can draw this initial trend line, and then it goes what I call parabolic. When you move to this parabolic, it is really dangerous to your account's health to be shorting this, okay? And especially when it comes to short covering. What is the most violent price action known to man? Short covering. You want to stay out of the way. You're either in the trade early, or you're waiting for a strategic pullback at a level that's going to bounce and you get into the long. Okay, the best practice is if you missed it, walk away. Just walk away. That is the absolute best practice. We have a few other rules in our group, and one of them is I want to see a shift in market structure rather aggressively below a low and past the trend line. When I get that, I might start looking for a short. Okay, so the other rules. You never add to a losing trade. You never add to a losing trade. You never add to a losing trade. You see money, take money. I follow the move at 50%. I capture my points. Such as yesterday, I did several shorts up in here, but I was taking 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. Just small, waiting for that shift in structure to happen. This candle right here gave me that shift. And that's when I started saying, okay, might be time to be looking for some counter shorts. Because although I was long down here, I couldn't hold it. I missed this long by 1 freaking tick. So I took a break for an hour, came back, waited till I saw the shift in market structure, and then I started playing see money, take money shorts. So we're going to now go to the yearly chart, okay? And we're going to look at that. Come over here, hit this plus sign and say, I want to see this. And it will enlarge it for you, which is really, really nice. Here's 3 trend lines I'm able to put on my chart. This primary trend line, parabolic number 1, and then parabolic number 2. And actually parabolic number 2 starts right there. All right, so if we were just trading based off of a yearly trend line, which I don't do, we are now at the second parabolic line. Really, really powerful. What are some additional things I would want to mark on here? Well, I would want to mark this 2023 low, this 2022 low, and then we have these three candles that are all basically in this range. What I would want to know is what's the 50% mark of that. There's a yearly fair value gap. And then I want to know 50% of this wick. I want to know where that is. And I'm going to mark that 50% of that wick. So these are the levels I would want to know based off of a yearly chart. Now let's go to monthly. So to dial this in a little further, what do I see? Well, we have this obvious trend line here. And then what do we see? A parabolic trend line. Okay, I'm seeing that. So now let's turn on the weekly chart. I turned on a little linear regression to really show the channel there. This is this main trend line here. That is, by the way, coming off this monthly. Let me throw the monthly back on. Okay, monthly trend line, and then the weekly turns off of that. And then I can throw this one, and this one. Possible targets to the north based off those trend lines. And once again, we're just trying to figure out where are we, where might we be going. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to switch to a daily. That's refining this channel even further. Let's look at what's going on here. So here's this primary trend line. And once again, I'm trying to see where we're going. I don't have any levels up here to draw. So the only thing I can rely on are diagonal trend lines. So I've got this little trend line here, I've got this little trend line here, and I've got this little trend line here. And I'm looking for where these things tend to intersect and where there tends to be areas that would make sense to me to make as possible targets. The truth is, I don't care about those. I'm going to trade the chart as it unfolds in front of me. But I'm still trying to get a good idea, where are we, where could we go, especially when you consider these channels. Because we do see price tends to bounce back and forth between these channels, and so I like to draw them on there to give me a clue of where the top of that is. I believe that is very prudent. So what I want to show you here is what I did is I can turn off this monthly trend line if I wanted, but it looks good. I actually like it. Is I drew this area here and I went, okay, that's the move we've had. This makes sense. Where else have we had that size of a move? And I come over here. I was like, that's the same size of a move. This might be somewhat educational. Notice, I'm not predicting this, but it not only retraced the whole move, it went lower. Okay, so be careful thinking this thing has to keep going up, but also be careful thinking it has to come back. But let's look at the trend lines, because here would have been my primary trend line, and then it went parabolic. What happened? There was the shift in market structure. It came back and tested basically the top of this trend line. Another shift in market structure came back and tested the top of this trend line. So when should you start shorting? I told you earlier, when there's a shift in market structure and it takes out this parabolic trend line. And then notice it'll start a new one, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But I wanted to give you a look because this looks very similar to this area up here. I have no clue if that's going to happen, but that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And let's go to 30 minutes actually. So now I'm refining this even further. And that's what you do when you drop in time frames. You start refining. These yellow lines would be my trend lines if I was on an hourly, and then the orange is my 30-minute. So I have those on my chart just because I want to see, when do we touch this first one? When do we touch the second one? Because these are the parabolic trend lines. I need to know where those are at. Okay? Let me make sure I got everything turned on there. So this line right here is my half back. This is half the distance of Friday's range. I want to know where that is. Okay, so let's turn on the strong levels here. So here's the new levels I got. This is kind of the zone where I think price could very well have a reaction. And then this halfback needs to be on your chart. This is the section I believe is the warning shot to bulls. And here's the bull bear line. And then careful with longs under 47.55.25. And that's where I believe the new strong levels reside. Okay, now let's look at some trend lines. So I went back in time and just went to an hourly chart here. And where would I draw a trend line? So I would draw this trend line here. Then you had this monster up move here. And then basically the trend line reset here. So I would draw a new trend line there. And then you could draw one more parabolic trend line right there. It took it out, it retested, then it took them all out. This is just crazy type of days here. But it is what it is. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to break the trend line. All right. And then what did it do? It started laddering back up. So we got a new set here. You would initially come in here and probably draw this trend line. And then you'd go, whoops, it broke it. So that's not the trend, because then it would turn to this. No big deal. You're trading intraday. You're trading with the trend as it gives it to you. But on a higher time frame, you want to be aware of this. And then what happens? How does it break a trend? Two ways. It breaks it by going south, or it breaks it by time. And this was a consolidation period up here. Let's go to the next one. Then price started coming down. And then it creates this new primary trend line. Then you have this parabolic happen. And then it adapts out. You swing it out again, and that's where you finish, and then it finally breaks that. Then what do you get? A new primary trend line. And you got this monster move again, and then you have to establish a new trend line. It finally takes it out, comes back up, takes it out. You get the idea here, right? And now here we are at this one. It starts coming back down. You establish this trend line. It goes parabolic. It breaks it, it tests it, it breaks it, it comes back in. So that's what you're looking for. And you're just kind of doing that over and over. And it gives you an idea of where am I? Where are we right now? We're in this upward channel. There's no question this is where we're at. Let me come back up here where we're at. We're here. Let's go to a 30-minute chart. So I've got this monthly trend line. And you go, okay. And then these yellows are hourly and the orange is 30 minutes. So let me turn back on the strong levels. So you can see now why I have this as a warning shot to bulls, because this would be taken back half back and you'd be taking out these first two parabolic trend lines. Bull bear zone, last chance for bulls. And then underneath that, you want to be careful with longs under 47.55.25. You can see now how I came up with this analysis for our strong levels. Now let's come back over here. Let's go to a 3-minute chart. So as this was happening here on the 3-minute chart, what do? You can draw the same things. You just keep bringing them in. There's your primary trend line for the day. Then it goes parabolic. There's the break. There's the break. Let's go look at it. So when we had this rapid up move and then this strong break, there's the shift in market structure I'm looking for. And then I can start shorting. But see money, take money. See money, take money. I am not looking to call the top and it goes 50 points my direction. If it does it, great. But I'm not looking for it. I'm seeing money, take money. So this is an example of using the exact same method on intraday trading that I just showed you on hourly charts. It's the same thing. You just dial it in, dial it in, dial it in, and you become much more exact as you dial it in, okay? Okay, now let's talk about some of our core strategy results. So first of all, If you're a member of my group, you get access to this chart here. This is my Airtable chart that as I update it, these statistics are updated live. Now, in the group, I just screenshotted a lot of this on the trading floor and put it on there and talked about some of the things that I'm seeing. So since March 21st, 2023, we've been tracking all of our entries only on the 3-minute chart. And of course, there are more entries than this. This is just basic core strategy. It's the first 3 levels I teach you to draw in boot camp. If you only traded those first 3 levels, what would your success been since last March? 722 trades, 670 in profit, 6 losses, and 45 break-evens. Now, the most important part of this is here. What you've got to do is not let this loss hurt you. If it was a loss, it's because price ripped right through my level, didn't even give me the chance for a break-even. These 45 trades gave me the gift of break-even. Guess what you should do when you're given the gift of break-even? Take it. Take it. So the key are these 2. You don't let these 51 trades crush these 670 profitable trades. If you knew you had a high probability system like this, wouldn't you just take the loss? Yes. Wouldn't you just take the break even? Yes. Take the break even, take the break even, take the break even. All right. Now I want to go to my website. So when you go to my website, microstrader.com, click results. This is even good for my members. So I want you to know that this is available to you. So what this is this is the raw data. This is all the raw data, and you have the option to come in here and do some of your own sorting. So let's say you came in here and said, you know what, I want you to sort this by day for me. So let's filter this by day, and I want to see Mondays. Let's just see Mondays. I want you to group it by result. So that way I can see profit, loss, and break even. So for Mondays, 108 winners and 14 of the losers and break-evens. Well, what does that look like on Tuesday? Okay, what does that look like on Wednesday? You see what I'm getting at? You can go through and do all of these kind of sortings. You can come in here and say, okay, I want to know with the trend. So we're going to filter by trend. We want to know with the trend. What does my profit and loss look like if it is with the trend? That's pretty strong. 253 in the profit and 6 losers / break evens. So you can come in here and do these in all kinds of ways if you want to play with this data. It's like, okay, show me where the 5-point runner is yes, and I want you to group it by day. Which days have the most 5-point trades? Let's take a look at that. Which days have the most 5-point trades? Looks like Tuesday's the big winner. Friday's the next winner. Which one has the least? Mondays. Okay, so you have non-members. It's more beneficial to members because you know what the heck this all is. But you can come in here and sort this data yourself and create those charts. Or if you want to get access to this pretty spreadsheet, what I want you to do is you send me a private message. I'll give you a link that you can sign up for Airtable. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything, but you have to have an Airtable account. And if you'll let me give you my link, they give me like a little credit towards my monthly fee. They don't pay me. They just give me a little bit of credit. So if you don't have an Airtable account, please let me send you the link and you can get signed up to where I will give you access to this. And you can see it's a big, long table. I'm not interested in scrolling through that for YouTube, but it's fantastic data that applies just for people who trade our core strategy. Okay, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. And at the end of the day, guys, where are we going? It doesn't really matter. We trade our levels as we trade them because we have a high probability success system. We just trade the levels and trend as they're given to us, cognizant of trade location.
Stay green, my friends, and to learn more about our group, go to microstrader.com.